Hello, I am Bayside Llama 3, and Saiko Yonyabashi is my favorite Tokyo Ghoul character. Let's get started. So today I want to talk about Tokyo Ghoul Urie, chapter 112, titled Saved from the Web. And this chapter focuses on the best character, the waifu for waifu, Saiko Yonyabashi. Why is Yonyabashi the best character? A few simple reasons. 1, she's thick. 2, she's adorable. And 3, and this is the number one, 3, and this is the number one reason. Whatever. Saiko is the only character in this series who has a truly amazing sense of humor. Whenever Saiko is in a chapter, I'm usually laughing out loud. Furata's come close too. He's made me laugh out loud a few moments, but Furata's the bad guy. You're not allowed to like the bad guy. Yeah. So this chapter begins, since this is the first time I'm talking about Tokyo Ghoul, just to let you know what was going on in the series, Donato Pro Prada, I believe that was his name, he's been fighting Urie, one of the QS. And in the previous chapter, Urie went up to Frame 3, the forbidden level of the QS's power, the point of no return. And last week's chapter ended showing that Urie pretty much, Pro Prada didn't kill him, but Urie's pretty much gone crazy. He's on the verge of becoming a full-on ghoul after going into Frame 3. And Higamaru leads Yonyabashi and Hisao to Urie's location. And last week's chapter ended where Yonyabashi going, I'm not going to let any more of my friends die, I'm saving Urie. So this chapter begins, Saiko pulls out her Kagune, and it's quite a bit different from what it was before. So in the past, Saiko's Kagune was like this big tail looking thing. And basically how it worked, at least the first time she used it in the fight against Nutcracker, was that it was basically a one-hit kill. Like if you got hit by it, you were done for. But it ate up all her stamina. She couldn't keep fighting after it. And eventually she got to the point where we see her using it and she was attacking left and right with it with no problem. So she obviously got over the lack of the stamina she would lose. And now we see, apparently Saiko is a fan of Naruto because she's got Hashirama's 1,000 armed idol thing. Got the hand sign and everything. It's like, her Kagune comes out and her fight with Urie begins. She hits Urie in the face a couple hundred times, in which Urie strikes back and cuts off a good amount of her arms, her eyes bulging out of her head. So the fight continues. She starts doing some cool stuff, like she sends a fist and like a bunch of the other fists come behind her first fist. And she basically starts pummeling Urie, talking shit the whole way. These are grade A curse words here. She called him a big fat dummy. So the fight continues. Hisao's obviously helping too, because Urie's kind of like on a whole nother level of strength here. Obviously Saiko, she's strong, but she can't handle this on her own, so Hisao's getting in here. I like how I can actually remember her name now. I've had trouble remembering who the heck Hisao was for a while. For a long time, I just called her the one with the butt. And there is some butt in this chapter. So yeah, as the chapter continues, we see how Saiko names all her techniques. Like when she deactivates her first Kagune, she does like a JoJo's pose, Kagune cancel, and then she activates her ultimate trapping technique, Elite Neat. Yeah, Saiko Yonyabashi knows her character trope. Basically, it's just a net that she forms around Urie. And we get into a little first Urie breaks out of the net very easily. And we get into a little flashback here. I like this flashback. Saiko's watching Urie exercise. And basically, she's like questioning why is he working so hard. And he basically responds with, if you quit lolling around, if you start training more instead of lolling around, you wouldn't have that body of yours. And as the editor's note here says, he meant to say flabby there. And once again, Urie, she ain't flabby, she thick. There's a unique difference. But yeah, And you know, we get back here to the main time. We're out the flashback now, and she's basically just berating the now crazed Urie, like, this is what you get for training so hard. You should have started doing more fun stuff. So you know, we start getting to the next part of the fight. Saiko starts holding her breath, and as she goes, fight fire with fire, and macho boys with macho boys, and she summons her, as I like to call them, her long dick style arms. Like, it's just two giant arms that come out of this small girl's spine. And we get into a flashback with Hisao, and we get to see, as Hisao mentions, the strongest point with Saiko's Kagane is its freedom. She's basically a master at changing her Kagane in different shapes, which is amazing because in the past, usually Kaganes just take one shape. Like Toka's has always been that weird wing thing. I believe that's what they call it, Ukaku. And Kanaki's for a long time, before it became like that right arm, was just those four tentacles that Rize's old Kagane. You know, we haven't really seen Kaganes change all that much, other than getting a Kakuja, and it's obviously not a Kakuja, because QSs don't eat flesh, they can eat regular food. So, that's pretty amazing, especially since, I believe when the original four QS were introduced, before we got all these new ones, like Hisao and Higamaru, they were all supposed to be, like, good at something. Like, I believe it's like Shirazu, fun fact, Shirazu was my favorite character before Saiko, but he's kind of dead now. But yeah, like Shirazu, I believe he was like the fastest. You know, Saiko back then, we believe, just had the highest physical power. Mutsuki had nothing special about her, really. And Urie was like a jack of all trades, master of none. And now we see, nope, Saiko's main ability, her main gift is her adaptability. And I love this flashback. Like we see here, from what I can tell the picture, she's like using her Kagane to make a ceiling fan, to fan herself off while she reads her manga. And after that, she uses her Kagane to make like a fork. And she mentions that, I think, yeah, she mentions that it's like, she made it to look like something out of a robot anime, and that she just can't wait to, you know, whack an enemy with it, though Urie's probably will whack her back. And she even picks her teeth out with her Kagane, like it's a freaking toothpick. So yeah, the fight, we get back to the fight continues, and this is so, like, this is like the most ridiculous fight we've gotten so far in Tokyo Ghoul. Like, usually, fights that cause a lot of destruction between tons of people, but for the most part, Hisao's just watching at this point. There's just a fight between Urie and Saiko. This is the most, and despite the fact, this is the most shonen fight that we've gotten so far. Her giant fists are just destroying this building that they're in. But you know, Urie gets away. She does this ultra, like, you know, pile driver move on him. Apparently she's a fan of My Hero Academia as well, hitting him with that Detroit smash. So you know, Urie hits the ground, and she comes down and just starts gatling him. And you know, I guess she believes that he's done for. You know, she's just like, snap out of it, Urie. You're a captain, ain't you? And Hisao's getting ready to land some hits in, and she actually does, but Urie strikes back. You know, he's just, you know, he's kind of super OP right now. And we finally get some dialogue out of Urie. You know, he hasn't talked much. We get to see more of his inner thoughts, because Urie, despite the fact that the whole thing with his character, you know, his character quirk, is the fact that whenever he's talking, we see these parentheses, and these parentheses are like his inner thoughts. We usually don't really know all that much how he thinks about people, and we get to see how he thinks about Sasaki, you know, Kanaki's former identity, and he's like, damn it, pushing everything onto me, Sasaki, fucking Sasaki! Because, you know, Sasaki, you know, left them. They really believe that they're in this trouble because of him. I really do hope there's a moment where Kaneki meets up with the old QSs and, like, you know, shows them that he's not evil, because, you know, I like their relationship, and he pretty much, back when he was Sasaki IA, Sasaki's, like, Kaneki's family was the ghouls from Onteku. Sasaki's family were, you know, the QS and Akira and Arima. So I really do hope there's a moment of reconciliation in the future, but that's a topic for another day. So Saiko's basically yells at him, stop lashing out at others, and the two of them, clash once more. He's pretty much complaining because, Urie's whole thing is that he wants to be the best. He wants to live up to his dad's legacy. So he's just like, I am strong, look at me, look at me. And he cuts Saiko's arm off, but whatever, Tokyo Ghoul, they grow those things back in a matter of seconds. And my favorite page in the chapter, not this moment, this is my least favorite moment in the chapter right here, Urie just stabs through Saiko. You do not hurt Yonyabashi, Urie, but whatever. We get to the best moment of this chapter. She puts her hand, despite being impaled, she calmly puts her hand out and she hugs Urie, smashing his face into her bosom, and we get the single most heartwarming, in my opinion, the most heartwarming page of Tokyo Ghoul to date. I've been looking all this time because Saiko loves you, Urie. Hopefully this isn't a death flag. Saiko's avoided tragedy, direct tragedy, this entire series. Like, she hasn't become white-haired Saiko, or has had to fight like a ridiculously strong ghoul like Prone Prada, or have gotten killed like Shirazu did, or have gotten her arms and legs cut off and tortured for a couple hours like how Kaneki and Mutsuki did. She's just got a lot of indirect tragedy, people in her life getting hurt. But she herself hasn't gotten hurt. If this is a death flag, hopefully it's a death flag for Urie and not her. Because Ishida, just don't hurt Saiko. She's the best character in this series because of how aware she is of everything. She takes things in stride. She's goofy because you need some goof. But she also, doesn't take away from the serious moments. And so yeah, she hugs him, she says this, he starts to come back, he's about to say her name, it's like Yon, and then he passes out, because we learned that along with his senses themselves starting to come back, Hisao hit him with a repressant drug, so his cognate's going away. Hisao and Saiko begin to talk. It's like, because you threw yourself at him, I was able to inject a suppressor drug. And she's just like, nah, it's not that. Captain Urie returned on his own. And we get the best line in Tokyo Ghoul history. She's just like, let's just say this. Men talk big, but shove a big pair of tits in their face and they'll shut up real quick. She ain't wrong. But so yeah, the two leave off with the unconscious Urie to go find Higemaru, because if you don't remember, Higemaru kind of got his arms and legs cut off by Prone Prada in the previous chapters. And the final page of this chapter shows these characters talking, and they're talking about how the white suits and Kaneki have teamed up and how smart Furata is, and they say that for the sake of peace, Kaneki's gang must die. And at the very end of the very last panel the chapter reveals, these are members of the V organization. So next chapter, either we're going to learn more about V, or it's going to be a Kaneki, I'd say Kaneki, Sato, who else went into the CCG with them? It was Kaneki, Sato, Kuro, I believe. I forget which one died, Shiro or Kuro. I think it was Kuro who's still alive. Who else went in there? And Ayato. It's probably going to be them fighting these members of V. We get to see what two of them look like. I can't really tell if they're characters we've seen before. Probably not. One of my problems with Tokyo Ghoul is that there are so many characters that I sometimes forget certain people. But whatever. That's next week's going to be awesome. But right now, this is my absolute favorite chapter of Tokyo Ghoul. Both the original series and Re. It is a great beginning and end chapter. Not only an amazing fight, but amazing character development, focusing on my favorite character, Urie, another character who I like a lot, and Hisao, who has a nice butt. So yeah, I'm hoping that, honestly, I know drama is great, and tragedy is what Tokyo Ghoul is pretty much all about at this point, but I'm hoping this is like, there's already going to be more tragedy with the QS. We know what path Mutsuki's going down. They're most likely going to have to fight her at some point. So I'm hoping it is like as bad as it gets for Saiko and Urie. Like, I'm satisfied with them just having a happy ending, getting into a relationship. I'll be fine with that. We don't need either of them becoming white-haired Urie or white-haired Saiko, or, getting, like, crippled beyond belief, or, getting killed. I really don't want any more of, like, the major QSs getting killed. Especially since I've started to like even the new ones. Like, I mean, Hisao, she's more than just a butt. She's pretty cool. We've recently gotten some stuff out of Higamaru. He was, and I always liked that one. The one who, like, I think he, like, covers his eyes, and he's, like, formed kind of like a, a brother-sister relationship with Saiko. I've started to like him, as she calls him, her young Padawan. So, yeah. Just Ishida, let Urie and Saiko have their happy ending, but still have more cool stuff come out of Saiko, more humor. I'll end the chapter with this fun fact. So fun fact, back when Shirazu was still alive, way back in the beginning of Tokyo Ghoul Re, there was a chapter, I believe he was talking to Urie or Kyoto, I forget who, but the character asked him, like, is there anyone you have a crush on? And we got to see Shirazu's thoughts, because he didn't actually say it, but in his thoughts, 3, like, bubbles pop up of people he has a crush on. And I forget who the third one was, but, like, the first 2 was, like, Akira and Saiko. So he had, like, a crush on Akira and Saiko, which I find kind of funny, because as we know, Akira had Amon, and Saiko, she likes Urie. So, I don't know, I find it funny, since Shirazu and Saiko were similar, I wondered if, like, Saiko, like, her crush would have changed if Shirazu was still alive. I don't think so, really. I just find it kind of fun how romance is getting brought into the QSs again. And not depressing romance, like in the case of Mutsuki and Torso, but, I'm just battling on now. Saiko, waifu for lifu, best Tokyo Ghoul chapter. Saiko Yonyabashi, 2017, Year of Saiko. Have her appear in more chapters. Have her meet up with MAMAN again, and learn more about Kaneki. Have them be friends again. I'm gonna shut up now. Base 3 out.